I love being the underdog. It's my jam.
Ballsack and butthole.
Aim the game. Go unbroken.
Like, yeah, I'm 32 this year. Yeah, I've got 2 kids. Yeah, my life is crazy, but you can still make anything happen. You know, like I can still, you know, I won quarterfinals. That's awesome with, you know, the chaos that I wish everyone could see what was going on in my life at that time. But, you know, anything's possible if you just put your mind to it. So that's what I want my kids to grow up knowing.
Look, I don't wanna talk. How you try and press the kid and read it, you was soft. All you know is capping, homie, you don't know the law.
Well, this morning we've got courtesy of Gordon. He's doing a 12-week assault bike program, but we're actually doing it on the Echo bike. And so I'm jumping in for maybe 3 sessions a week just before we start class. It goes for about 20 minutes. This morning we've got 15 cows, rest 2 minutes, 20 rest 2, 30 rest 2, rest 5, repeat for 3 rounds. So it's 210 cows all up, but it's a good way to start the day and get warm for the class.
I did my first ever CrossFit workout in 2009. It was the Spartan 300 workout that a PT at a Genesis gym told me about. Told me I had to try this workout because he knew I liked to run and lift weights and do all that type of stuff. And he told me Gerard Butler had this time of like 11 minutes something or other. And I was like, oh yeah, so it's like a race. And he was like, yeah. And I was like, cool, I like races. Then I didn't touch CrossFit again until 2011. A friend of mine said, get into the CrossFit gym when I moved to Sydney to get ready and, you know, for my football season. I was playing rugby league at the time. Yeah, flogged me again. But I remember walking out of that first session in 2009 and 2011 thinking, oh, what just hit me? And it was just flooring. I was like, well, whatever this is made me feel this way. I have to do more of it. And that's what kind of drew me to it in the initial phases. And then I kind of, you know, fell in love with the community. From there, I competed in the first ever Open in 2011, which was the initial year of the Worldwide Open. So you got all these rankings from within Australia, within, you know, your state and also within the world. So it that was quite intriguing to me, knowing that you could get a world ranking from doing this competition, and that fired me up. And then I remember looking back at the scores, and I think I placed 199 in Australia out of about 500 male competitors. And I was like, far out. There's 198 people fitter than me in Australia. I can't have that.
If my fucking quads don't grow a centimetre in this fucking whole 12 weeks, I'm going to get mate.
What's up, Baz? Oh, that's awesome. Oh my God. Far out. Oh. Oh, I don't miss this. I kind of do. A little bit.
Must do the backflip. I do backflip too? Yes.
Oh! Oh,
So good.
Wow!
no!
Mama!
No, that wasn't me! 5 and 3. Underdog interview.
Oh, God. And pass back so we're ready for school, please.
Wow.
Well, like, yeah, I'm just gonna
It's
what a tough guy.
Screenshot or something, and he's just like, I love how confident.
Let's go upstairs.
Yeah.
No, they don't. Your foot did not grow in like 2 weeks. History at the CrossFit Games. So I made 2019 CrossFit Games individually. And then I made 2020, but that's when COVID hit. So didn't end up doing it, ended up having a baby. And then 2021 and 2022 teams. Yeah, so the last 4 years.
No, Noxie, no. Chaos from the time we wake up. And then trying to force them to eat food, which is a nightmare. And then trying to chase them around to put clothes on them. And then trying to force them in the car at a good time. And then you got rugby training.
Will you walk with me?
Yes, I'll walk with you. Oats, banana, and peanut butter. And protein shake.
The difference from team to individual, I feel like in teams you can have just a whole heap of fun, and I think individuals are a little bit more stressful because it's like it's all you, right? Like you just, if you make a mistake, it's all on you. if you're not working, you're not getting reps, that kind of thing. So the difference in training is obviously completely different. So transitioning from teams to individual has been a bit of a shock to the system, to be honest, but I'm loving every minute of it.
What you doing? Give me a kiss. Hello, Hunter. What you doing? Don't know what that was, but you're laughing. Oh, he's on point today. You're on point, bud. Give me a kiss.
Nice.
Best
Wow,
shoes
good
ever.
Woohoo!
Shoes.
So, I mean, even last year being away, he was close.
Got everything?
I don't know. I don't know if I got everything, but whatever.
Let's go.
Let's go.
You want coffee? Bullsacky.
Ballsack and butthole.
And
Favourite words.
And what the hell?
And what the hell?
Maybe you can have a turn of that one and then you guys can swap. We're not going to fight today. We're going to really good.
Take kids to training this.
This one's fun to go down the driveway because you can just put your feet up.
Obviously, I didn't qualify, and I had a holiday booked into Bali. So I was like, that was my off season. So I went to Bali, and I think it was like a week and a half in, and I'd just been drinking non-stop, just letting loose. And I get a message from Rob. He's like, do you want to compete at the games? I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, yeah, we need someone for our team. He's like, we go in like, I don't know, 4 weeks or something like that. And I was severely unfit. He's like, you got 4 weeks to get fit. And then, yeah, we ended up going to to the States, and we actually did really good. Like, way better than expected. Way better than Project X.
Or it might be a similar story this year. Severely unfit, 40 days to get there. You might get better than you think.
I love being the underdog. It's my jam.
So I've been competing with Zeke for a very long time. He's actually the fella that beat me in the 2014 final. Actually, no, we were neck and neck. I think I crossed the line just before him. Yeah, I did. I got him. I thought he beat me there, but he did get off the bar before me. We have similar backgrounds. We played rugby league growing up. We have always lived by the coast, and we just enjoyed training. And now we're probably in similar circumstances where training and competing at the CrossFit Games is not our largest priority in life anymore. So I think we share a bit of commonality there. Zeke is still so damn fit, so damn strong. Even where he sits now, I'm sure like if he could, or if he wanted to flick a switch and go back to like full-time training, which I know he's not doing anymore, he'd qualify for the games for sure. Like, he's still so competitive. But again, I'm happy for where he's at, and as long as he's happy doing what he's doing, and he can still come to comps and throw down kind of like myself, like mentally I think we're both in a pretty good space. So I've always shared a lot of good times with Zeke, having laughs on the competition floor and just slogging it out. And I think when you do some hard workouts together, and we went to the games I think the same amount of times, I think we've both been 4 times, I don't know, even though you're not talking the entire time, you're still building a bit of a relationship because you've both gone through the same stuff, and we both rookie yeared in 2016 together, so we share that as well.
Thinking back.
Do I be kind here? Oh, he's got no chance. No. Zeke, my mate Zeke. Zeke is one of those guys who you can never sleep on. He is the kind of guy that is so reckless with his fitness that he can do some serious damage when he needs to, and especially those sort of short, sharp events that require you to go to those really dark places. He's one of the best in the world when it comes to those events, and he, sometimes, it doesn't always work out, but when he calls his shot and it pays off big. And we've only got to go back a few years, and me and him are very close, so we talk about this moment fondly. But I was in the sort of seat for a game spot a few years ago, and I didn't execute the last event of the weekend as well as I could have, and Zeke threw a Hail Mary from 2 heats back and qualified for the CrossFit Games. So I know better than anyone just how good he is and just how dangerous he is, and I would love to see him go back to the Games.
So we're hitting bench press today because training hasn't been that great, but if I turn up to Torian and I don't perform, I'll look good. Jack. Go, baby. Go faster. Stop.
Are you Zeke's new coach?
Oh yeah, apparently. I'm the childminder, I'm the nanny. I just cruise around and put out fires with the kids while he gets a session every now and again.
Dad, is Scotty going to share today, or is she going to get angry when I have like the bat or the ball? And I'm like, Scotty's learning about all this stuff with like playing with brothers and sisters and stuff at the moment, and it's all new. I'm like, you've got Lakey and you've had to learn to share with her, and she's had to learn to share with you, and you still don't do it. He's like, oh, okay.
Do you want to bring your snacks inside and we'll play with some toys and we'll come back out and ride the bike in a minute?
Fuck me. Oh, shit. Hamstring cramps and everything.
I was like, do I jump on and spot him? Or do I just film the struggle?
I was like, oh no, it doesn't feel good. I can't add up. It's like 130 something. Maybe 130. Happy with that. Hello, babe. Chippy. I love it, Chippy, thanks. So I started CrossFit in 2013. 2014 was my first regionals and I came 7th. The next year I felt all the pressure, all the expectation from being nobody to this new kid on the block, and I think I came 12th, which is still cool. Like I was happy but very disappointed at the same time, because I'm like, 7, you should be improving every year. And then 2016, so the year after, was the year I made the games, and I think that was like third year of competing, and I maybe matured and understood it, handled the pressure and all that sort of stuff better. And I did really well. It's probably one of my best years in terms of leading into it, executing and all that jazz. So that was my first year at the games. I think notoriously for me, the games has never been easy or a good time. And it sounds really shit to say that I didn't enjoy going to the games. And I think a lot of people that have been may be able to resonate with that and understand that. But yeah, I don't think, for me, I'm not a, what's the word? I don't think I'm suited for the game style of workout and programming, where for the regional side of things, or semi-finals now, I think it suits me really well. I'm all about going hard and emptying the tank and that's my background in rugby league, where that was the mentality. So I've just kind of brought that into CrossFit, and it's been really hard to undo and change. I'm built that way.
Cara, if you think about Zeke Bro as an athlete, how would you describe the man?
The first thing that comes to mind is, what is pacing? That's my number one thing. I feel like I've said that before. I'm like, there's no pacing, there's no strategy, there's 100%, but so everything's just go, 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 and it actually pulls off a lot of the time. Like if you can, like when he's on and you know is doing well, it can like pull off. So somewhere, I guess I noticed that because I'm not like that. So I noticed, I'm like, oh man, I need that gear. Like, how do I get that gear? And it just goes for it, like full send, like no worries. I'm like, that's like a really good quality, but could probably do with a little bit of a pace every now and again. But you definitely got to give him credit for being all in.
Even from the get-go, look forward. That's it. Better. We've got some pausing snatches. 5, 3, 1. Oh, I'm dizzy after that one. Far out. And then tempo back squat, 4 down, 1 up. 4 sets of 5, 60% superset with dumbbell rows, 1 arm dumbbell rows. Pump. And then the conditioning is awesome because it's so simple and there's not a million parts to it, which I like. It's 100 wall balls for time. Every break or every no rep you do, 15 wall ball penalty. Aim of the game. Go on, broken. Hey, you're looking shredded.
Hey?
You're looking shredded.
Look good, hey? Not bad for 43.
He's looking good for 43. It's
Getting there, 42. I'll give myself 42.
been a hard 43.
Push forward a few years. I missed out just briefly in 2014, missed out in 2015, and then finally in 2016 cracked it, went to the games. And then I went to the CrossFit Games through 16 through 19. I didn't really get the results that I wanted through 16, 17 and 18. I always walked away pretty disappointed those years, and to the point where I didn't really want to compete anymore. The only reason why I competed in 2019 is because I had nothing better to do. So I kind of just decided in roughly January that I would start doing a bit of training and programming again. And then I ended up having a great year because I put zero pressure on myself to stick to, you know, or not stick to anything. I stuck to the program, but I put zero pressure on myself about placing. I just wanted to have fun. I just wanted to just figure out how I enjoyed CrossFit back in 2011, 2012. And that was just rocking up, having a dig, and then, you know, no pressure or expectation on where I placed. And that's kind of where I'm sitting now.
I've seen Travis Mayer's done 150 at the 30 pounder. Yeah, I don't know how, but he did. So we're just saying this workout is actually a really, really good Torian workout if it was 30 pounds at this type of scenario, which would be tough because you might get 50, 60, 70, but then you've still got another 60 to go or 45 to go, and then you'd be in the hurt locker trying to get that done. So it'd be a race to the finish. Everyone would finish around the same time. 10 seconds. Oh, here we go. Good luck. I'll see you at the finish line.
Yeah. Just go unbroken, you'll be fine.
Never little wanna be gangster trying to play hard.
100. 3 minutes on the dot. Woo! Good job.
Alright guys, just make sure your wall balls are wiped down, please.
Well done, guys. Well done.
There you go. 3, 2, 1.
So who programs for you, Katelin?
Justin Kotler from Underdogs. Yeah, Underdog Athletics.
How would you say mum life affects your training?
Like in every aspect, you know, like I can't get all of my training done in a day. Like it is what it is. I got school pick up or school drop off or whatever. So I really struggle to get every single part of my training done. And also rest and recovery. Non-existent. So my 5-year-old, he'll like come into our bedroom still 2 to 3 times a night, and then I'll just like, no, Hunter, go back to your bedroom until it's light, and he'll go back. It's fine. So that's not too bad, but it's still the waking up. But Knox, it's just a nightmare. Yeah, it's still a nightmare. Still waking up like at least twice a night. I have to go back to his bed with him, lay with him, try and sneak out. But then he's like, Mummy. So then I'm like laying there until he falls asleep, until I can get up again, because I can't sleep in that bed. It's just too uncomfortable. So yeah. Oh my god. No, don't walk in it. Freaking dog. You're gross, man.
Getting clucky?
No. I can give this one back. Oh my god. Okay, myself as an athlete, I'm very like I'm scatterbrain. I'm like, when there's a dog, ooh, dog. Like I struggle to focus, so that's what I'm really working on, trying to like really focus my energy on just my training. But I think I'm a bit of a goofball. I like to have fun. I like to laugh. I like to dance. I think that's my biggest, I don't know, would you call it an asset? I don't know. I just like to have fun, and I have fun training. I freaking love training, and yeah, love competing even more.
In a sentence, I'd say capable of a lot more than she thinks she is. And when that comes out, it's going to be scary.
What are we rocking here?
Oh, just a boring wrap with honey. A little bit of a pre-training snack. It's actually delicious. I love it. I'm I've always had them. I think just because at school I did jump rope for heart, you know, with all the fun things. So I don't know, just all like little things like that. Yeah, I like it.
Nice.
Just like random shit that I'm okay at.
Yeah.
Just don't give me any like heavy stuff. Even with me having to practice those bar pullover things, because I'm like, if that was in a workout, that'd get pretty hard.
Which ones are they?
Those ones?
Yeah.
But then I'm like, I wouldn't know if you would be allowed to kip. Or like, what would the standard be? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, could you swing into it? Would you have to start like... Just trying to figure out like the best way to do it, because if you do like a pull up, yeah, that's definitely heaps harder.
What makes you think those might come up?
It's Boz, like, he loves gymnastics.
Yeah.
So have just been, and the press to handstands, just been like practicing that, and yeah, it's just hard.
Yeah.
I suppose like, you can't dismiss anything, you know? Just got to make sure that you're at least tried everything.
Yeah.
Then I've been trying the strict bar muscle ups.
No, thank you.
No, thank you. Please, no. Please, no. Usually it's just usually me and Johan normally, but there's usually like a lot more people around, so I feel like, you know, we're usually we're usually like around a heap more people, even if they're not doing what I'm doing. But so good, I've got like such a good relationship with like everyone that's in Vegas, so we're always kind of like, I would message and be like, oh, what'd you get for this workout, or, you know, how'd you go with this and whatever. So it's still really good, we can kind of bounce off each other and stuff. It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about Ricky? Were you comparing scores with Ricky?
All the time. It was so nice. It was so good. Obviously Ricky's a massive machine, so he's obviously goals, but it was always really nice to kind of like compare my times to him, and I think there was like one workout that I beat him, and oh my god, I was so excited. Oh, it's not too bad. I think this one's bad though. Yeah, that's pretty rank. Yeah, Johan wants me to burn them. He reckons that washing wouldn't do anything, I just need to burn them.
Some of the best, honestly, the best performances that I've had personally have been when I'm not prepared, or not as prepared as I think I am. Obviously, there's a fine line. You still need an element of, thank you. You still need an element of like, you know, conditioning and still to be able to handle the weekend. So it's just, I think as long as you can get that in time, then the rest of it and the nature of the person and the drive and where you're at in life, like all of that kind of stuff comes into play so much more. Yeah, and I know from experience the times where I've been like, oh, this competition is almost a write-off and haven't been able to train the same or had like crazy drama in life or whatever, I've performed amazing because the expectations aren't there. You kind of just let yourself kind of get into the moment a little bit more, and I think that's really valuable. Sometimes overthinking, being too calculated, you know, setting things too high, and it doesn't work, and even just for different personalities. So I think for him, like, he does best being chill and enjoying it, and I think like that's what he's doing, just enjoying it, and whatever comes, like whatever will be. But I definitely don't think feeling like you've kind of had a few other things on, it's not like a write-off. I think you can still do really well because there are so many other factors to being a top level athlete than just the training, you know. It's the headspace. That's like, what, 90% of it, let's be real. You know, you can kind of, if you can push through some pain, you can deal with that, then that's what really matters on comp day.
Yeah, so for the games for me, it was like, I think I qualified 2017, which was a stressful time for me. Like my boy Zephyr was born, you know, early and leading into the games, and yeah, it was a weird time. Like, do I go? Do I stay? And I ended up going, and I have a lot of regret about it, but it is what it is. It's done. And then 2018 was my last year as an individual, and leading into that, like I got induced into a coma for a week. I got really sick, and I think I had like 2-3 months of training to compete for the Open, and then I ended up qualifying that year too. And yeah, it was a pretty gnarly year and stressful year. So going to the games for me, it was just like, whatever. I qualified, it's an epic achievement, and I was satisfied before I even got to the game. So I went there, I did some really cool things, I had some really bad events, but I walked away feeling satisfied for the first time, you know, in the third of, 3 times that I'd been.
I can't take no loss, I don't even know what it costs, I hit the ground then it go off, yeah, hit the ground then it go off, yeah, I can't take no loss, I don't even know what it costs, yeah, I hit the ground then it go off, yeah, hit the ground then it go off, yeah, run it, ooh, I really feel it's my time, think it's my year, yeah, I really feel it's my time, think it's my year, yeah, I really feel it's my time, think it's my year, yeah, I really feel it's my time.
How you doing, Scotty Toddy? the start of the year, I jumped on Rob's program, Rob Forte, the Unified. It's been really good. It's been different to what I've always been kind of used to, like 10 years of CrossFit. So it's been a nice change for me to kind of one step back and just try and have some fun, and also do some different things that I'm not used to doing. A lot of accessory work and a lot of shoulders. My shoulders feel so strong at the moment, which is cool. It's something I naturally had but never worked on. It's been cool to kind of work on it and see some cool progression as well. So that's been nice for me.
Did you do the same workouts as Jay? Or?
Yeah, I do. Not as fast as Jay, not as heavy as Jay, but I try.
It's been a long time. I still feel like a 21-year-old, and people are like, oh, you're OG. I'm just like, OG? Oh yeah, this is my 13th season of CrossFit. How good. It's, I think, my 12th year of nationals. So I did the first ever Open in 2011, and then I qualified for regionals in 2012, and I've done regionals every year since then. I'm still, by nature, very competitive. No matter what I do, when kind of like 3, 2, 1 goes in whatever race it may be, I'm still like, I get that competitive personality comes out in me. But I've also like matured in a way to the point where I can look at my priorities and discern which things need to be taking first priority. And competing for me these days is just more so for being a part of a fun environment, having a cool experience, meeting cool people, and just creating memories, rather than I'm out for blood, I'm going to win at whatever cost. I don't really see it like that anymore. I'm just stoked to be out on the floor. And typically when I'm happy and having a good time and having fun and a bit carefree, this was, 2019 CrossFit Games to a T, where I was a bit more carefree, things kind of like work out a little bit better. I haven't really had a time where I've gone into a competition just super happy, having a good time, and done super bad. So I think I'm just going to roll into it just having a good time. I've had a couple of people ask me, it's just like, what if you qualify? I was like, well, number one, I don't think, and like the thing is, people are just like, don't say that. I was like, I don't think I would qualify, but I also didn't think I would make Torian this year, so who knows? But people are like, that's not the attitude to have. It's like, well, it's the attitude I've had for the last 12 years, is that I'm going to win at all costs. And I feel like now I've kind of earned the right to say, you know what, I don't really mind. And which is the funny thing. But if I do qualify, let's just say it all goes real well, then yeah, I'll go to the CrossFit Games, and I probably won't ramp anything up too much at all. I think if anything, I might just try and get really good at one thing and try and take out a win.
Big Noobs. There is no one like him, and ever has been, ever will again probably. I don't think you'll ever find another story of a guy who basically doesn't even do the sport and qualifies at the highest level for that sport. No, he's an awesome bloke, absolute stand-up bloke. We were psyched when he came. He kind of just showed up for the first open workout. He's just here. I was like walking. I was like, hey, what are you doing here? And I was like, this is perfect. I'm like, he's done the workout at the gym. We should ask him to be our reserve. So yeah, it was awesome to have him on the team and just like around it. And he came down for the other Fridays. And yeah, he's a good bloke, awesome athlete, obviously. And yeah, I'm excited to, honestly, I think he's going to make the games this year. Just so much residual fitness. It's a great like advertisement, I guess, for CrossFit as like, yes, it's a sport, but what we have in CrossFit unique over other sports is that it is a lifestyle. It is more than just being an athlete. Like, it's for everyone. And I think James is proving that how much carryover the lifestyle of CrossFit has. You know, you can't just quit NRL for a season and then just turn up and make selection, like, you know what I mean? But he can in CrossFit because it's a lifestyle.
Mate, it's not often I do any extra training, but for the purpose of Grant to Greatness, I will do some extra training for you. So I'm thinking I'm going to do a 3-rounder. It'll be a round of DT, 70 kilos, and then a 400-meter run. So hit a round, go unbroken, and try and do the round quickly. So don't just kind of mosey through DT like you would to try and hang on for the 5 rounds, but then just pump them out quick, get them done, get onto the trot and get around the track, and then come back, hit that for 3 rounds. I'm looking at this barbell thinking, yeah, we're on here. We've got 70 kilos, but this might be a better option. I've spotted it. We can do DT with this instead, please. That's better. All right, ready? We're on.
You know, I'm not getting any younger, I know that. Like, I'm 32 this year, so, you know, I'm probably definitely one of the older girls that are going to be competing. And I think I might be the only mum. But I feel like that's not, like, obviously it's hard, but everyone's relative. You know, people have full-time jobs. Like, you know, I have gyms and I've got my kids and everything's chaos a lot of the time, but that's what I'm used to. You know, I'm used to the chaos. I'm used to kind of training through that. But to be honest, I'm just super privileged. I'm, you know, proud of my body to still be able to do this. So yeah, I'm rocking that 30 plus on my way to Masters. Woo!
I think, yeah, she's inspiration because she's 32, she has kids, and that gives me hope in the years to come that I could still possibly go individual. But I think she's very, very driven. I can see it just on Instagram, just how hard she's been training, and I think she might crack it. She might crack it this year, so that will be cool to see, and so inspirational to the elder athletes, even though she's not old. But yeah, because there's so many young girls coming up, so. No, it'd be really cool to see her crack it this year.
Torian, it's like grand final day. It's like it's like going to the NRL grand final. It's just everything you wait for all year, you train for, you know, all that build up, and then when you get there, the hype is real and it's a show. Very much like the games is. The games is a show, and when you're there, it's, you know, it's yeah. Fireworks from start to finish, and I think Torian's very much the same. They've done really well with their stadium, how they run it. Yeah, so the boys are really professional that way, and I think it creates a really cool vibe.
The best year that I ever had at the CrossFit Games was 2019. It was also the year that I enjoyed the most. And I placed 5th, which is something that I can be very proud of. I think it's something that I've been striving for since the very beginning, something that I can look back on and go, you know, if I never CrossFitted another day in my life, I would be satisfied with the result that I've achieved. This year, 2023, feels If I had to correlate it to any year, it would be very much the same as 2019. And I'm not saying I'm going to the CrossFit Games to come 5th again, but in terms of the pressure I'm putting on myself to train and how much the CrossFit Games and training occupies my mind, 2019.
Now it's just for me, it's just doing it for me, and doing it, I suppose competing the same way I did how I first started, and it was just because I like to challenge myself and push myself for me and no one else. And I lost that for a long time. You know, I was doing it for sponsorships, I was doing it for my gym and all these different things where you lose track of your why, and your why becomes other people's whys. So yeah, this year and kind of the end of last year was kind of changing for me, where I let go of Zeke the athlete, and now I'm just Zeke the CrossFitter, dad, electrician, whatever he is, just having some fun and talking some shit with mates and throwing down.
Like, I know my capability, and like I'm trying to put all the little 1%ers together now to try and get to the best that I know I can be, kind of thing. So I feel like, you know, winning the Oceania in the quarterfinals, it definitely wasn't expected, but I knew that I had the capability of doing that, and I just needed to trust my training and to trust myself a little bit more, which I did, and yeah, that's the way it ended up.
Oh, she's going to the games, for sure. No doubt in my mind. I think Torian's going to be good to watch. There's going to be a few girls going to be fighting for those podium spots, and I think it's going to come down to like last day, last workout, but they're all going to be raging for that second, third spot, for sure.
My experience with Torian has been freaking wild. Every time I've gone out there, I've always walked away thinking, man, that was fun. And I think this year will be the best regionals we've ever seen here in Australia.
Bailey Martin, winner of Torian Pro 2023.